there? No. Right, I'm afraid of I don't think I can do Anthony?
Yeah.
Could you check for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good.
She's gonna put some air conditioning on, sure. I don't want to start without that.
We have an agenda? It's just one page and it says record.
Ready? Okay, meeting called to order. Please rise for a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I need the Open Public Meetings Act statement.
In compliance with provisions of Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of New Jersey of 1975, adequate notice of this meeting was given by publishing a notice in the edition of the Trend. This notice was also placed on the Kinnelon Borough website and sent to the North Jersey Herald News, the Record, and posted on the municipal bulletin board.
Thank you, Karen. Can I have a roll call, please? Roll call, please.
Councilman Navy?
Here.
Councilman Chertoff?
Here.
Councilman Harris?
Here.
Councilwoman Frank?
Here.
Councilman Lewis?
Here.
Councilman Redler is absent.
Okay, thank you. This is a special meeting we called to order tonight. When we say special meeting, we just wanted to keep the community involved in what we're doing as far as recreation is concerned. This council that's up here now wanted to create a vision plan for the future in Kinnelon with all of our recreation spaces. So we've met with our rec committee, we've met with our rec director, our planning board, our council members, and people through various sports. And we basically came up with a list of things that we talked to these gentlemen about, who Mr. Lewis, as our rec committee chair, will talk about. But we just, again, this council is always thinking of the future, making sure that money's in place for things, and we have a vision forward. So I thank them for that. And with that, I'll go to our recreation chairman, Bob Lewis, and a longtime football guy. I know Mr. Wilson's here. There's your, the guy you got. There's some big shoes there to fill.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I'd like to take a moment to introduce a partner who's helping us take a forward-thinking look at one of our town's most valued assets, our athletic and recreational fields. We brought in the Neglia Group, a respected engineering and planning firm with over 70 years of experience serving municipalities across New Jersey. Their team specializes in modern, data-driven assessments of recreational infrastructure, and they've been tasked with giving us a clear-eyed professional evaluation of our current field conditions, along with creative, feasible options for how we can improve them for the next generation. This isn't just about short-term fixes. It's about understanding what we can do, what we should do, and what we might consider doing in the future, so that Kinnelon remains safe, sustainable, and competitive, not just for our kids today, but for the families that will call this community home in the years to come. Neglia brings deep technical knowledge, but more importantly, they understand that every town has its own character and priorities. They're not here to sell us a plan. They're here to present options backed by facts, so we as a community can make informed decisions. Please join me in welcoming the Neglia Group and thanking them for their work and insight as we continue shaping a stronger Kinnelon for tomorrow.
Thank you, Bob. The only thing I do want to say is the numbers that they're going to talk about tonight, this council's not prepared to spend any money tonight. This is still conversation. It's a working document. And when you hear numbers of 30 million, 20 million, this is best case scenario. So as Councilman Lewis said, we might say, hey, KRP needs to take away this and add this, and we're not gonna do the building, we're not gonna do, there's all things here that we can do or not do, so don't get alarmed, and there's no money spent moving forward on these projects already, so this is still, like I said, in progress, so don't get upset if we didn't pay enough attention to the baseball fields or the football fields. It's a working document, so we're gonna talk about it, discuss it, and we just wanted to involve the public this time, so again, you don't think we're hiding anything, so. I'll bring you guys up there, your audience, we'll come down so we can all see it. If you guys wanna come down, no bunch of you already saw it. But the closer, you have a big picture as well? All right, so just maybe put it in the center there so everybody can see it. I know you've seen it 100 times, and it's online.
I memorized it, page 72.
And we've already had one round. We've had one round of seeing this with the rec committee and the council, and we made some recommendations. So this is the recommendation stage, so you've implemented all those?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of what's changed from our last meeting,
Yes.
the concepts, nothing really has changed. We just have a bunch of answers from our meeting
Okay, good.
with the DEP, but we'll get into that later.
Okay.
So, good evening, everyone. This is, as the mayor pointed out, our second meeting presenting this recreation vision plan for the borough. I'm James Lyle. This is Mateo from Negley Group. We, over the last few months, put together a plan. Basically, we put together an all-inclusive look of the borough-owned properties in Kinnelon, comparing them with the DEP rules, specifically the Highlands rules, since the entire borough is within the Highlands Preservation District. And with that, we identified 4 specific properties, and of those 4 properties, we put together a number of concept plans, and that is what we're here to present to you tonight.
Okay, one of the first properties that we targeted was the 140 Boonton Avenue. This property is located in front of the firehouse. Currently, the property is a vacant lot that the borough uses as parking lot. It's made out of gravel. One of the biggest things that the borough has indicated that they wanted.
Just pull it up more so we can, all the way up to the table.
So also the camera's catching it better.
Yeah.
So you move it almost all the way up. That's perfect.
So this is the firehouse, is right on Boonton Avenue. It's the top of the picture. That's the firehouse on Boonton Avenue. That's the vacant piece of property that's across the street.
Yes, it's currently a vacant property. It's made out of gravel. The feedback that we got from the borough was they wanted to pass a park. We were informed that the current property has a noise restriction, so we thought about adding some playground equipment, but because we have a noise restriction, we had to pull back from that. And based off the feedback we got, we came up with a 1/8 mile walking trail with outdoor fitness stations along the trail with some area lights just for these fitness areas and a small parking lot in order for residents to come and park and utilize the track and the outdoor fitness equipment. I don't know if you guys want to have any questions or do I need to?
How long is the track, you said?
1/8 of a mile, so eight go-rounds is a mile.
Be dizzy if you're on one.
That
piece of property was originally designated as a veterans park. If we chose to do something with that parcel, with doing that, is there enough ground left to do some kind of flagpole and memorial there?
Yeah, if that's something that the borough wants to go ahead with, we could accommodate an area designated for a memorial center.
Okay.
Do you have a sense for how many parking spaces would be involved?
There would be roughly 10 parking spaces. Based off our preliminary estimates, we estimated that the park would cost approximately $700,000. This is, as the mayor said, is a preliminary estimates. We can always add, take away, add memorials, kind of whatever the borough wants to do with the property. Is there any more questions?
There's no facilities there as far as bathrooms or anything like that, just parking and walking.
Just parking lot.
What's the decibel level of our noise ordinance? What's the decibel level of our noise ordinance?
It's not a noise ordinance, that's part of Stony Brook Highlands.
Okay.
In order for us to take over that piece of property and not have a house on it, we agreed to not having any, they didn't want a dog park, they didn't want kids screaming, they wanted a quiet reflection park, so that's why we thought of this idea.
Yeah.
Until I get stuck on that outdoor fitness.
Town-owned property, but we fall under their, I guess, guidelines. It's in our deed. This is Houghton Avenue Field across from Whiteker.
Yes, this is located at 180 Booton Avenue. There's currently 2 baseball fields and an empty grass field with, I think there are 2 renovated courts that are being constructed now, with some parking. When we met with the borough, their biggest concern for this property was there wasn't any sufficient amount of parking. They indicated that residents would have to park on the other properties and walk through the road with, there currently isn't no safe access, no sidewalk, in order to protect people. So they've walked down, and based off that feedback, we came up with an additional parking spots, with a new layout of the parking lot. We kept the 2 baseball fields that were in pretty good shape. We included redoing the grass fields into youth soccer fields. We also included 2 pickleball courts on the top corner, and then there was another idea of, there is an existing trail that's kind of behind the property. We also proposed a walkway that would lead towards that trail. Like I said, the biggest concern was the parking, and we did that by adding additional spots, roughly about 40 additional spots. There's currently approximately 55 spots. Now we show around 90 spots, and that would help kind of, the biggest concern would be the safety of the residents coming to enjoy these games.
And everything you're showing us, let's just say the parking, that your research has told us we can do it.
Yes, we met with DEP, and we told them the concern of the borough and how it becomes a safety hazard, and they were very acceptable of the notion that this would provide a safe access to these ballparks rather than having residents walk along the road.
As far as putting more impervious surface between the parking lot and the 2 additional pickleball courts, what kind of application process is going to be with DEP? How long would that take?
So the expanded parking area, because of the safety concerns, is actually exempt.
Okay.
So
But the pickleball courts?
the pickleball courts would need their approval, and the walking path could be a permeable material.
Yeah, that can be.
Yeah,
How much land did you have to clear to expand that parking lot?
it's currently existing grass.
Was there any consideration to drainage now that we have more impermeable surfaces?
Yeah.
Those don't drain, don't drain very well as it is.
Well, one of the problems there, just so you understand,
I understand, is
Yeah,
the level of the water.
yeah, the water table runs about 30 inches.
Right, but we're gonna put more parking
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
We've got more runoff towards playing surfaces.
Yeah.
I was just,
Well, if it's graded and constructed properly, you're not gonna run the water towards the playing surfaces, you're gonna run it opposite, so.
Yeah, and that we'll look into design, we'll design the drainage system for the increased impervious, all meeting the DEP rules and the Highlands, regulations.
The entrance and exit, is that one way like it is now? Or
Yeah.
are those two-way in and out?
There's two entrances now, one way in, one way out on both entrances.
You go in and out both,
Both, yeah.
according to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's always a problem.
Now that we have you here and we already paid for you, can there be drainage put underneath a baseball field to help the drainage there?
Yeah, we
Is
should
such a thing?
put an under drain system, perforated pipe to help kind of drain the fields out better. We left those fields alone because based on our evaluation, they're in pretty good shape, but if that's something that the borough would like to do, we can do that.
Are those full-size soccer fields?
Those are youth.
Okay.
That's APA. So there's currently irrigation underneath the infield.
Okay.
So putting drainage in concurrent with that irrigation wouldn't be an issue.
No, the pipes are flexible, so
So
you
they
can kind of
would,
bend around.
yeah, I don't know enough about that.
Yeah, they're just like thin little rubber flat pipes. so,
Okay.
yeah.
And the space right below the two proposed pickleball courts, is that where our batting cages are?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the batting, we show batting cages remaining next to them.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
So, question, who's gonna maintain, is this all grass or is it turf?
It's grass.
It's all grass.
Who maintains that?
DPW.
So it's my understanding that DPW shares those responsibilities with the Board of Ed?
Not at all.
Okay, so we just go from
The-
Board of
our-
Ed doesn't do any of our maintaining.
Okay, we had softball games there, and the lines weren't lined, and they said it was the Board of Ed's.
Only when the middle school plays.
What's that?
Well,
It's a deal we made with them.
it's
that
a deal with
we're
them,
gonna
so
utilize
middle
the
school or
field.
high school, I'm sorry, Jim.
No, good, you know.
So when the middle school or high school utilizes our KRP fields, we actually groom for them, but they line it because it's their
Okay,
games.
so that's an issue I think we need to address, because that's where middle school plays.
But I mean, you need to address that with your,
We have, and nothing's ever been done, so.
okay. Ralph Burrows, he's the head of the, maintenance.
Contact them, I mean, it's, what you do, right?
No, but that's the Board of Ed is in charge of that, not the town of
Okay, but
Kinnelon.
wouldn't you work with them and say, hey, we need to work together on this and make sure that these fields are lined or who's not lined?
Well, it should be, right?
They should be, I make sure they're groomed because that's our part. I mean, I certainly can reach out to them and say that,
I know they're lined for Triborough, but, you know.
that's because I'm getting them lined, because that's my responsibility, that the school's
Consider moving middle
responsibility.
school softball back over to the schools thing.
I'm sorry?
We should probably consider moving middle school softball back.
There's no place to
There's
play.
no softball
But
field.
here's the problem. The buses, if they run on time, they run late. They don't get there late. I mean, the kids go, they have a half-hour practice, which is ridiculous.
I think that's a board topic.
That's a
but I
board
think we
ed
should take,
education
the-
problem, yes.
We're talking about planning this, so.
Well, this is,
That's not-
That's,
this is the boot nap field, it's not even a kid.
I don't think these are softball, these have mountains.
yeah, these are baseball
This is
fields.
baseball. Yeah. KRP is the softball.
Yeah, right.
Did we talk about price?
Awesome.
Yeah.
So for our preliminary estimates, including the new parking lot, regrassing the soccer fields, the two pickleball courts, the new walkways, and additionally, new site lighting, because that was a big concern too. It'd be roughly around $4 million for all these improvements.
That also includes a perimeter safety fence. We know there was some concern back here for, because there's a playground and kids will be playing back there, we wanted to secure the site. So that's that too. Any questions for this one?
The next location that the borough indicated that they wanted to target was the Kinnelon recreation fields right next to Borough Hall. When we met with them, they indicated that the current fields are very wet and don't drain very well. as well as they wanted to resurface their parking lot. And what we came up with would be that we would add under drains to the system to help to drain those fields, kind of help them keep not being wet anymore. And the other concern that they had mentioned was that there's an existing ditch that runs behind these fields that they would like to help and dredge in order to kind of help the drainage in the area and help alleviate the wet fields. We did look at the DEP and they told us that it would be permissible to actually dredge the pipe, the actual ditch, and they were acceptable to that. However, we would have to get an environmentalist involved in order to study that area to make sure that we are not impacting any endangered species, because that was the one thing that came up, that the surrounding area has some endangered species, but they were okay with dredging it as long as we proved with an environmental scientist that we could dredge the ditch and that we're not going to impact any endangered.
Is there a possibility, because of the nature of those fields, because realistically, so much of that is historic fill. It's been filled in probably since the late 50s on through the 60s. And, you know, it was filled in from construction and different sites all around the municipality and probably other local areas. Is there a possibility to elevate by 18 inches a foot and create the drainage on top of what's existing? Because if you look at the topography of the field there, you have plenty of room and you have plenty of area to elevate that and get up above the ditch. I mean, still dredge the ditch to get it flowing properly, but allow that area of drainage to go in between your elevation. Is that a possibility? Would the DEP allow us to do that? Because once you get digging inside that, you have no idea what you're going to encounter. That's my concern, just knowing the historical context of Kinnelon and that field.
So because there's streams and wetlands within this area, you can't fill within their transition areas and within the actual riparian zones of various.
So you have to stick with the existing grade.
Yeah.
Can you guys talk a little bit about, do you believe drainage only fixes the problem with the field?
I think we have drainage there already.
What did you say?
Like, just adding drains, does that make the grass better?
So the drains would take this saturation out of the soil, so it would just be.
But that makes it less wet, right?
Right.
That's the, like, a problem, but another problem is like the consistency of the soil, like it doesn't seem like it can take grass.
It's
So
never drying.
No, it's not. The water being wet is one part, but the other part is even where it's not super wet, grass just doesn't grow. And I think it's probably part of what Sean was saying, like the actual soil there doesn't seem like it can accept grass.
Well, you have to blend topsoil and put.
Yeah, which is what they're saying, fill, but then you guys are saying.
Well, you're not gonna raise the grade, but they could blend it and contain the same grade, but improve the quality of the soil, so you can get better grass.
So you have to rip it all up?
to install the drains, you have to rip up the soil.
Got it.
So in that process, if there's anything wrong with the soil, or if there's better suitable soil to put in there, it would be done at that time.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then how long does that process take?
The actual installation?
Yeah, like between ripping it out for drains, remix, fill mix, and then regrowing grass, is it like a year or?
Couple months,
Okay.
as long as the pipe's available.
How long is the DEP approval to what you said for this, to get that
So that
dredged out? How long will
the
that take?
study and putting together the study, applying with DEP, coordinating with them, all of that could take probably a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then fence in this proposal or no?
No.
No, there's no fence. But we can add that if that's something.
Yeah, I mean, I would say we had a bear problem there last year, and I think a lot of it has to do with, there's like a, track between DPW and maybe down to like Kinnelon Ridge. That's where like kind of the bears hang out, and we had them last year, but in between where you're proposing the basketball upgrade and the snack center.
They've been there a long time, like, not just
Yeah.
last year. Long as I've been here, they like the trash that we throw out from the snacks.
Exactly.
How much land are you gonna clear? It looks like there's a lot of food there.
It's the same footprint. So parking lot, same footprint, basketball fields, everything's in the same
Is there a
footprint.
softball field there? I can see stuff.
No. We matched, I think, whatever, I think there's a soccer field, football field, lacrosse.
here.
There's no soccer, there's no
Oh.
soccer.
No,
These are all
no,
football.
Okay,
it's not.
yeah.
Football, it's football, yeah, football and lacrosse.
Mike's
in the back.
Thank you. Can you explain, those look like pickleball courts on a new basketball court, or like the?
So it's an option, so you could
okay.
fit 4 pickleball courts on the existing basketball court footprint.
Could you explain that area? Like, you mentioned the wetlands, and that's elevated. So is there a chance to further grade and level at the current level in that area?
There's, like, the stream runs all within back here, so this whole, the stream runs
Yes.
over here, and runs all, so.
Actually, more towards the actual building itself.
This just has an arrow saying this could go here.
Okay, the
Yeah.
same footprint.
Yeah, so
You can't
it's
build
not
anything.
clearing the actual forest, it's over the basketball court.
Okay.
So, and with the stream, just to touch on it, this is a category 1 stream, so there's a 300-foot buffer that you basically can't do anything in.
Okay.
In terms of filling and grading.
So it is what it is, what it is, okay.
So just 2 things to point out too on that that upper level up there, that is utilized both for football and lacrosse for official parking and coaches. So we don't wanna go too crazy up there because we don't have enough parking down there, or even up here for Major League Football games. So I'm just throwing that out there. Everyone's gonna decide what they wanna decide, but that is a spot utilized for
Once
parking.
impervious, we can make it parking anyway.
And a basketball court like it is right now. Yeah.
Did you increase parking at all, or the footprint of the parking lot remained?
It remains the same.
So that's a bit of a concern though, because it's very narrow to get from here, this is directly behind, and the road is very narrow, and people often double park, much to the dismay of the police, because there's nowhere to go, and it's a fire hazard. So of any place where we would need more parking, it's here, and a wider road in. Yeah, I guess it is the same.
Oh, yes. One, the other thing,
Don't do it. Don't do the dog park.
don't go.
It's not going there. I told you who was supposed to work on it. I told you where I want it. Here it is, right here. Right below it, and those trees right there. It fits, I measured it, you need to make it work. End of that conversation. Dog park's going down there. You're supposed to do it for them.
Yes.
John.
Oh, it's John. John, tell John I'm looking.
Yeah, John has it on his list.
All right.
James, so with the park is basically, can we expand it?
Yes.
No. Okay, so I think everyone needs to hear that basically.
So the parking itself, but what about
No,
the
parking,
driveway? Because there's a walking path right next to it, and we like just make that like a little more narrow and widen the road itself, because it's so.
When you say walking path, is it concrete? Or-
From here, it's built into the hill.
I think it's a stone step.
Yeah, it has to be impervious. I mean, the stream's right there, they don't really want to do anything.
So basically, no asphalt can go where asphalt isn't there.
Yeah.
yeah, you can't expand the existing impervious coverage.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That sums it up.
So one last thing regarding, Mike, what you brought up about the grass. So we have in place a pretty aggressive, like, we overseed, we do pre-emergent in the fall, we do everything right. The problem, as you guys know, and I'll say there, it doesn't grow because we have 500 people on the field in the fall, then it gets cold, then it rains like nobody's tomorrow like this has, and then I have 300 people on lacrosse. That's why grass can't grow. It's because it never has a rest. You get the summer, it looks pretty good in August, right?
Yeah.
Boom, gone.
Yeah.
Because then now we have 300 football players and then 200 cheerleaders on it. So, I think that's why these folks know that we need the ability to rest fields so that the seed can root.
Just a question, can you make it I know everyone, there's pluses and minuses with turf, but turf is pervious. Can you make it turf or
It's
one
not
turf?
pervious. And so the Highlands specifically has artificial turf listed as impervious coverage.
But aren't there variations of Highlands approved turf?
Not,
There's not one?
No, we talked to them about it, that they see
They said
turf,
no.
because of that, they see it as impervious, and there's such strict requirements in the Highlands on impervious, they're not amenable to it.
The only reason I say that is because, a good friend of mine works for the turf company, and he's done work.
Where that is exempt,
Yeah.
that's why.
Well, I have to ask him whether it's been municipal or Board of Ed. I know the Board of Ed is exempt, and that's why we should.
That's how we want ours.
Maybe we need
But
to sell
even-
our fields to the
even down
Board of
there,
Ed.
you have to-
And do it that way, seriously. But, he's told me his company, does turf work in the Highlands area, but he hasn't told me whether it's been Board of Education or municipality, so. Because I know it's a different process with, Highlands preservation with the turf. They do a different method, because it's supposed to be Highlands approved. That's the only reason I say that.
Yeah, like there's different types of infill that's more
Yeah.
environmentally friendly.
Right.
It's artificial turf is artificial turf.
Yeah.
They see it as impervious.
Okay.
One of the things as a town we should think about is Fur Miller Field. That could be turf. You know, that's a school-owned property and it's a big field and that's something we should, because, you know.
That whole field utilized there? It's underutilized.
We just change that around the park, you very much.
Does that eliminate from the borough then? From all the stuff we use the borough or?
Show you. And that price is 4.1 million.
4.1, yeah.
But I think that includes the.
The dredging.
Yeah.
Dredging includes
So 4
dredging. Includes the dog park, the dredging of the ditch, the under drain system, and site lighting.
Ed, quick question, is that field, the bottom part of the T, that's, I'll use the word new, which I probably don't remember how old it is, but
2015.
there is drainage underneath that. I really think our focus should be the dredging, and I think it'll dry it up a little bit, I don't know. But I think, like you guys said up here, maybe we should start thinking about switching fields, what sports play, and what fields, but that's our discussion. So good, thank you.
What endangered species are there?
Um,
And how do we know? And is it like, what is it, what are we working with here?
We did a study on
The state does, like, they monitor a bunch of different species across basically the entire state. And there's a couple that were highlighted here, and I think, what was the?
I think it was a toad, but it's, the thing is, they kind of keep it very vague.
Because they don't want you to.
They keep it vague where it's like in the area, not specifically, it might not be in the ditch, and that's why we would hire the environmentalists to actually go out, determine it, and see if they would be impacted.
And then they would find the toads and relocate them. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And you know that they're all flowing down from Silas.
Can we send all our kids down to just capture them and press the relocate them?
Find the toad.
The presence of those species are just determined in judging of that situation.
Yeah.
The presence of them is not gonna affect any other improvements in that area.
Right, yes,
It's just the dredging.
yeah.
Okay, this is Caribbean, this was,
To the left is existing, what's there now?
yes, that
The
is.
shaded area, the green is new.
This is all new. This is similar to what the borough received as a permit back in 2018. We kept roughly the same concept, we fine-tuned it a little bit. We kept it essentially the same, because that was what was approved back then. We didn't, like I said, we didn't really make any changes to it.
Is it an 80-yard field or 100?
I'm sorry?
80-yard field or 100-yard field?
100-yard field.
And I'm assuming that's grass.
Grass.
Yeah, grass.
Can't be turf.
And what's the building? Is that a?
I think that is
Community
a,
center.
Community center? So
that,
what would be in there? Can you talk about that?
Well, I mean, we don't have plans for it yet.
Okay.
I'm assuming a big empty room for meetings, maybe a stage for presentations.
Basketball court.
Basketball court.
Ice rink.
Ice rink.
Yes.
Donuts on the hot
Swimming
night.
pool.
Wrestling room.
How many parking spots are there?
I think there are roughly about 50 parking spots.
And then, well, added, you added,
Well,
in addition
There's
to.
an additional 50 spots.
So about 100.
You still have to keep the 150 spots that you have.
You don't have room for overflow. Where does overflow go?
This is
Good Avenue.
Houghton Avenue. This is it's a vacant property now. It's built with.
Is there lights there?
I'm sorry?
In this plan, is there lights?
Yes, this would be, we include in our estimate lights for just this field.
What kind of lights?
The Musco lights.
Big tall lights?
Yeah.
So the land on the new field, how far is that space between the land and properties behind it? The back lot is 5 acres.
So,
What is
yeah.
it?
5 acres for Daniel.
No, yeah, like Daniel Walnut Lane
5 acres.
and Boot Nap is also owned at the back lane.
Well, with the side lighting, we would work with the vendor and make sure that we're not spilling any lights onto the
I'm not just
adjacent
talking about the
homes.
lights, but how close in proximity is that side of that field towards the neighbors that live there?
The bottom right. Is there a house to the right of it?
Yeah, there's properties all over.
But if you look to the left there, look, that field's just.
Yeah, there's houses to the left too.
There's no lights there, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, what we're showing is what was previously proposed as part of.
So you don't know.
The lack of lights is what makes us lose that entire field.
Basically, yeah, it's like useless field now with no lights. I thought.
It's not just the lights, it's not just the lights, it's the amount of land that's encroaching upon the neighbors on the right.
It was within the regulations that you don't got.
This one was part of the application that was approved by the Highlands.
Can you tell me the amount of space in feet?
I would say roughly approximately 150 feet.
And you get approval for those neighbors?
Yeah.
I think with, all the improvements are within the borough's properties, so.
Is there space on that lower, or the softball field at the top? Is there space there for a municipal field, soccer fields, lacrosse fields, anything like that? At the largest field on there, is there room in the grass area for?
They said 5 acres, right?
I was talking about the field itself. Not
This field,
on the
right?
field, yeah, on that field itself, is there?
So we currently use that as a utility field
Okay.
for anything from Easter egg hunts. I had a dog derby there. We run soccer clinics there for the little kids. So we do utilize that quite a
Lacrosse
bit.
clinics you got there?
Pardon?
Lacrosse, you guys do lacrosse clinics?
Occasionally, yeah, lacrosse clinics I do down here now, but occasionally we do them at Cheer. Cheer uses that for, August for all preseason, so that's pretty well used, what we call utility field. That's a 60-90 field. That's not as widely used as the other softball fields up top. We really need those upper fields lit. They're almost useless to us because they're good now because it's late until 8 o'clock, but like the gentleman who has a daughter playing softball, they could never do a double header. If they're playing in April, they're done at 6, done.
Those lights would be on our windows.
But the LEDs do not bounce. They would not be in your windows. They'll shoot right down. Oh, okay, well.
They have like backlight prevention, so that those lights wouldn't spill behind them. So they would be strategically placed to not spill lights into the adjacent properties.
Can you describe the lighting plan for the entire layout there? Is there lighting going to be added on the left side that's not highlighted?
So in this concept, we're not touching the left side.
So there's no lighting on this side?
There's no lighting on this side right now.
Only on the new stuff.
Only on the new.
So you still not use that then, like?
Yeah, that could be added.
That could be
It's not
added.
part of this concept.
But that could be strategically placed, so we're not spilling onto adjacent properties.
I mean, that's the major concern, is the lack of privacy now. Like, the reason we live here, we bought these houses, our backyards, we have, forest right now. I understand it's your property, you want to put that stuff in, that's fine.
So I'm all for fields and recreation, but the light is what kills us. If the lights are gonna be on till 10 at night, like every night, that's disruptive. That's a complete lack of privacy for us.
There's no lights now, right? There's no lights.
No, that's not.
There's no light, and it's beautiful.
But that's a parking.
I get it, but the other
But you have
zones
the
are
parking
not around
or
residential.
there's no houses
Yeah.
that are closer.
Yeah, because of parking lot.
families that it affects versus. So that they're not so.
It's
they're
more
not
than
gonna let
families. There's a whole street on Maria.
The building is here. So park, I know, park is over there.
How large is the structure? How many square feet?
All right, let's stay focused here, everybody.
Yeah.
Just remember, this is
That's
not,
roughly based off the.
it's not a done project. There'll still be time for people in the future when we really get
Borough
close.
can always revise it,
Yeah, yeah.
make it bigger. It's
So
a-
I know roughly just put it there.
Yeah, that was what was originally part of the permit,
Mhm.
the same footprint, we kept it the same.
Okay.
But again, the borough could go bigger, go to smaller, essentially what you.
I would just say, those are the only softball fields in town. And you know, I have a granddaughter that plays it, and you can't do doubleheaders. And in April, you're done by 6 o'clock. So games will get called all the time.
And the drainage is no good.
But you know, the lights that might upset the neighbors.
I understand that, I'm just pointing out.
You don't want it.
Utilities.
Are we gonna be compensated for losing property value? Like,
You won't be compensated, but this could be discussed where maybe that field will be eliminated. That's something we'll talk about in the future and when we discuss it. This is, we just asked them, give us best case scenario of our properties, of what we can fit there. So these are not done deals.
The parking lot, is that still one lane in, one lane out?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that might be a concern, moving that, which is already existing. I mean, if you're gonna have more people coming here, it could be a problem getting that.
There's, like, existing wise, there's a lot of steep slopes in that area, so it's very limited on your access to the road from the site.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what
Get rid of
it's
the
one way
curb
in, one way out.
that everybody hits.
Because of the steep slopes, if we added another driveway, we'd start eliminating parking. And I know the borough has a concern with, they're already kind of to the limit with parking, they need additional parking.
What's the timeline to do something like that? Like without the structure, like just the field?
So this would require an extensive clearing of the existing forest, and the field itself, once it's cleared, is relatively quick to build. I would say probably 6 months to a year to actually.
In our permitting process, if we wanted to nibble a piece as we go along, would we be able to go in and establish the field, the parking lot, and then come back 2-3 years later and start the process of the community center? Is that doable with regards to the permit applications that we took out?
So I would say most likely, we didn't specifically ask that question though, so I don't have an official determination on that.
Is that something you could write down and ask? Because
Yeah.
that would be a big question as far as council and mayor would be concerned, because we understand the cost of what this is. And, you know, obviously, some of our recreation fields are, when we have dry seasons, they're not so bad, we have good luck. But when we have wet seasons, which happen occasionally, create problems for our recreation and, you know, our families and our kids to be able to play their sports and enjoy these things. So, again, knowing the cost of what the scope of that whole outlay of what was originally proposed, if we could at least start the process and keep the ball rolling and nibble away a little bit at a time, and figure out if that was something we were going to do and we can fund and utilize it, it would be an asset to the community that way, and obviously come back and do more later. If we had to do it all at once, it becomes a little astronomical.
Yeah, we understand that could be something we do to phase out the project where, as you mentioned, you could just do the field and the parking lot.
Right.
And then we just leave this cleared area for a future structure or whatever the Borough
Is that
decides to
estimated
do.
cost for the whole thing? What's the structure?
It's roughly 20 million, but we went 10 million for the shelter, because we went a high-end, if you guys, the borough would like to do, high-end material, and that could change depending on how big the structure is, how high the borough wants to go. That's not a set of stuff number.
And then to piggyback off of that, just before we show the next concept, we did get an answer from the DEP on how, I guess, amenable they would be to the next concept we're going to show. And basically, with how this permit was given for what you currently see and how the approvals were, it wasn't a normal permit, it was what's called a takings waiver. And basically, at that time, a agreement was come to between the borough and the DEP for, let's say, set aside this amount of forest in the conservation easement, and you can exceed the impervious coverage and other various aspects of the rules to a certain point. And with that, this specific lot is the only thing that's covered in that agreement. So if we wanted to do anything with this lot, it would require an entirely new process, a new application, and what they recommended if the borough wants to pursue the next concept we're going to show is basically go to the Highlands Council and take their temperature on it. And if they're agreeable to it, the DEP will consider it. If they're not, then it kind of ends there.
And James, that's a pretty long process, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to show everybody, because it's going to get everybody excited.
Sounds like a lot of money.
I love the next proposal, but.
The additional feedback we got is they're not gonna give you the same relief they gave you back in 2018. The rules have changed, everything has become a little more stricter, so they might scale you back to what they originally granted the borough back in 2018. So it's not 100% guarantee that you'll get what's on the plan.
Yeah. But John, in the plan, that whole condition, that all drops, right? It's not flush with the road, that whole area drops because of the elevation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, in the front, when you come in the front parking lot, you're gonna go down a ramp into that bottom lot, right at the community center over there. That wall is gonna be like a lower elevation, right?
That elevation would be the same as the existing parking lot,
Okay.
and then it'll be a wall that will drop the field.
The field is lower.
But we can always change that, this is preliminary, we could
Okay.
make it work however, to raise the field up a little bit so it's a little more level. That will go more into when we get into the design phase.
But when you were talking earlier about not being allowed to add fill, is that, I mean, obviously if we're raising the level of that field, that would require fill, so does that basically negate our possibility?
This is, a little bit different.
There's no streams, there's no wetlands, there's nothing that's specifically regulated.
Condition site.
It's just a highland.
It is a little damp back there, just.
Yeah, don't tell the.
But do they have the totals? Do they have the totals?
So do you want us to show the next concept?
Yeah. Do it. We all say no.
It shows that people work.
This is the Rolls Royce.
Yeah, this is like. Thank you.
So basically,
Our plan, yeah.
when we talked to the borough, they told us that the original plan, they wanted to kind of bring those two properties and make it one united property, more cohesive. So we basically took that shelter rec center building and placed it into the middle, and then replaced the two fields on the side. There was an existing, I think, softball field here where the rec center shows now. We basically would move it to where the football field would be, and then we would move that football field where the old shelter was on the other concept.
And that's still a full field?
Yeah, that's still the full field and the same softball field or baseball field that was on this area.
And the structure is the same size?
Same size.
That'd be enough for the like football and maybe not that baseball field, and keep it away from the house.
You could like one field, yeah, that's a great option, and then
So you eliminate the
not a
softball field?
No, you said that on the bottom here, on this top.
Softball.
Yeah.
It could be whatever we want, it'll be softball. What's the total parking on this? How many spots? That's what they're
With
parking.
this one, there should be 203 spots. With the other concept, that would be 221. You do get a little bit more on the other, for the other one. Because now we're kind of making it more cohesive property, so we started to make that work.
You were saying that legally this would be more difficult to do because it's not your encompassing.
Yeah, because they're two different lots,
Okay.
and the agreement was made on the other lot, so because of that, the other lot wasn't included back when everything was filed. So now it's an administrative hiccup that basically like you can't do anything with it.
You'd have to start the whole process all over again.
Yeah, you guys
Negating what was going on.
Yeah,
That could be yours for $30 million.
And, but there's no guarantee that you can keep the same,
Correct.
so you might lose.
The building might get smaller, the parking might get
Did you
smaller.
lose what was already approved on that side?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Because that won't be held to, none of that.
Yeah, that's all,
It's
just start all over again.
Yeah.
Not going up.
Same footprint, right, I'm assuming?
Yes.
From that was this one.
Yeah, but everything was just reconfigured, yeah. And little loss of parking.
What are that first one to push the football field more into the woods, right?
No,
Yeah, we're stuck on that.
Yeah.
We have all that portion of the back is easement restricted, that was part of the permit. We had to give them the borough had to give them 5 acres of forest to keep that.
What are the components of the 20 million? Like, how does it break up?
That would include the 2 new fields, the parking lot, the structure, the new playground in the background, and site lighting for the whole property too.
And then 10 of the 30 is the community.
10 and 30, and that's just like
That's just a placeholder.
Yeah.
Is there square footage for one from the community center?
No, it's subject to change. We kept what we originally got.
What are those soccer fields on the top right? That's
So
like an option.
This is an option
Yeah.
for this, instead of a baseball field or softball field, it would be 2 soccer fields.
Oh.
Like you could fit either one.
Gotcha.
Is this the exact same layout as what you previously showed, footprint?
In terms of all the amenities, yes, yes. Actually, was the playground included?
I think we just added the playground to the back. That was the only addition.
Did you ever consider moving where the football field is, or soccer field, to the back side of where that top field is?
I think those top fields are just a zoom in.
Just extra to
Yeah.
go.
This is here.
That football field,
They can't touch this.
Yeah, this is under easement and it can't be touched.
So you can't get lighting on the other field regardless?
You could.
Oh, you can.
Yeah. Yeah, the lighting's the easy thing to change.
would that require going to the DEP?
Lighting?
Shouldn't.
No, I don't believe you would need to.
What's in the direct middle? No, sorry, up a little more? Up higher? Yeah, that, what is that?
There's 2 pickleball.
Oh, got it.
Fastest growing sport in America.
You know, the pickleball courts, I think the whole town's gonna be playing.
Stay where it is, and then the community center, where the baseball field is on your person.
Yeah, and we kept it on the same property. They would be more
Side by side.
You put the other one on, you can do.
So the DEP is amenable to moving things around on that property specifically.
Because if you push the football field up to the top like that one is, and move the rec center down towards the street, you don't have the light, you know.
Yeah, and then you wouldn't need to maybe,
Big football field like
when you don't
that is
touch
on
the
there.
first part, you wouldn't need to
The
go
rec
for
center,
the,
the softball field is.
for the re-permitting. That's an idea. Turn that field the other way.
Yeah, where the rec center
Where the
is.
rec center is,
They put the rec center down the bottom.
down the bottom.
You might get a parking lot, right, too, maybe. You're just gonna go around pushback though, if you residents, they're good, walk the property, like walk down this ramp or something to get this.
There's one house to the right, is there anything behind that? Is that just woods?
We have 5 acres of woods behind this, on this side.
I'm saying, there's a house right here,
I'm right next there.
okay, but then here there's nothing, right?
Yes, there is.
There's houses in
Yeah,
here?
that's Walnut Lane,
Oh, that's that street.
and then there's Daniel Lane, and that's what house.
Yeah.
could you like take away the community center and move the field up more, that way it's not as close to the houses?
We could reorganize the property to move the structure, the fields, anywhere within the permitted area.
You have to stick with.
We would just have to stick within this property. We can't start coming into this, because then you would have to go into a new permit with DEP.
That's really a football field or is it also
Yeah, it would be from the boat.
You can't see that very
What we're showing is close to it.
What was there was a time limit on this, wasn't there?
2 years from now,
2 years from now.
before it expires.
We have 2 years to act on this one.
Yeah.
Or expire.
2 years to finish.
Am I correct in saying that's?
If you clear the woods and start building, I'm sure DEP will.
Yeah, if you start substantially build it out, and I think the feedback was if they don't have the Rex or the structure here, I think they would be very acceptable.
I mean, the structure is how much added to it, like if you just did the fields and the parking.
The structure was $10 million.
$10 million.
So I think that's right.
So this project was being planned back through 2016, so I can't speak to what was originally happened or not. I guess that's what the responsible is for, right?
That's why we're here. Better let them know. You know, my increase parking lot, because now people are like, oh, I can come back to my lights or something.
That is all a perception, right? Like, you're into, we're into, or someone else, someone might like that, someone might hate it, you know? Again, you know, not everybody's opinion is the same, right? Everybody's entitled
Thank you, guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you. Ran up your stairs or something.
Councilman Harris, party of one. Let's go. Let's go. Yes. All right, like I said earlier, none of this is in stone. There's still discussions. One thing I took out of tonight is to call the high school and find out about striping the softball field. I will get on that tomorrow. Number two, anything that we do talking about this or discussing this in the future, the public will know about it. So if you're against something or for something, you need to have your voice heard. You got to come in front of the council and be heard. As far as the dog park, I apologize. They were supposed to have something for me. I asked them to give it to me directly because we want to fundraise for that, and I think we can do it, and I know we can do it without spending any borough money, so I'm confident in that. I just need the plans from him.
Okay.
And now you promised me, so now it's up to you.
Where's the dog park?
The dog park by the DPW.
Blue Chase Lane.
Enough problem. So like I said, anytime, any meetings talking about this stuff or what we're gonna be doing with fields, the public will be notified through Facebook, and so just keep your eye out on Facebook for when we talk about this. Right now, there's nothing in place, there's no funding for this. I mean, Anthony, you could talk a little bit about it, I mean.
Yeah, it's gonna cost money. It's gonna cost, it'll be additional increases in order to make things happen. So basically, like a $10 million project is an additional $150,000 to $170,000 a year increase in taxes for that debt payment. It'll be a 20-year payment. And there's also a referendum kind of route to go if we wanted to do this project, and then you put it to a vote. So there's so many avenues we can go, but at the end of the day, it's gonna cost some money. We have done a really good job in, building up our municipal surplus, so, we can draw a little off of that for some of the debt payment. So there are ways to accomplish this, but obviously at the end of the day, there'll be a residential increase. Not to say that lightly, I don't mean that lightly, it'll just be a residential, but, eventually it's gotta get paid for, and, to put it to round numbers, about $10 million project is around $150, $170 tax increase.
Per year.
Per assessed valued home at, $540,000, something like that.
Okay. All right, so, does anybody, I guess we can ask for the public, you guys can take off if you need to. Anybody from the public want to be heard before I adjourn? Hockey guy in the back, welcome. You had a great year, there's no rinks coming to Kinnelon.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Congrats to Pearl Miller Baseball too, that's great kind of chance.
Great job, guys. Thank you. Did you guys all get a copy of this? I gave some, they got all.
I don't think I did.
Maybe some here. Preliminary stuff here. All right. Thank you for actually speaking to the mic.
Jim, you're not supposed to talk about anything else but this.
He's talking rec facility.
Isn't this open?
It's the open, they're trying to only say only the recreation plan.
Only the recreation plan.
Because that's.
Perfect.
So we have our next council meeting.
Next Thursday, workshop.
Yeah.
So isn't this a public about recreation?
It's the recreation plan.
Vision plan.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I think that doesn't
Well,
that.
we advertise some comes to the workshop and then you get to us at the workshop.
So
Next
is this
Thursday.
just on the current plans?
This, whatever's in this book is what we advertise.
So isn't what I'm talking about exactly a part of that? For legal?
No.
Okay. For sure, is there? But you don't know what's in there, so how would you be able to say it's not a part of
Well,
it?
there's nothing on hockey in our current vision plan, so.
You know what, I'm comfortable, just go ahead.
Okay. All right, thank you. So, look, thank you.
Just
I'll
don't-
make it fast.
Just don't look at Karen, just keep talking.
Sorry, Karen. All right, I'll speak into the mic. So, look, guys, thank you for just giving me a very short moment here as you guys are talking about your city plans. Hockey's had a great season here. And the biggest thing is, if I ask you guys how many championships we won last year, you might get that wrong. You might think, yeah, our high school won, right? But did I tell you that our middle school won too? Right? And this is huge. This is huge. And again, you guys have been so supportive. Thank you. I saw the donation today. Jim, thank you. You guys have been so supportive, and I thank you guys.
The donation was from me, not the council. Don't get worried up here.
Striking the record.
It's from me personally. Go ahead.
All right. So, really quick, I'm not here to ask for an ice rink or anything like that. That's just unsustainable, economically crazy. Even if you built it, you would hate to maintain it. But what we did have in Kinnelon way back in the days is we had a roller rink. And that roller rink obviously got dilapidated and so forth. And in the current rec plans that used to be there had to be taken out for obvious reasons. But what has happened now, if you look through the history of hockey in Kinnelon, this is a unique thing. Someone mentioned earlier that kids move out to play sports. Well, hockey is one of the ones where they actually move in to play. In fact, they choose us over private schools to play with us. And that, yes, we have very good success and so forth, but it is a growing sport. And it's actually been part of this community since the 1970s. In fact, it's had a lot of iterations. It is in our first championship, by the way, at the high school level. It's our actual second state championship. But as you look forward, I'm not here to talk about ice hockey as much about
the feeder of making our program even stronger. And that's the foundation of roller and ball hockey. We just recently launched ball hockey to get more kids into the sport. However, just like ice hockey, we don't have a facility here. So we're again sending kids away to other towns, this time into Pequannock, so we can run a ball hockey clinic on their property. And it's kind of tough because we're out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, we're not gonna have ice here, but now we're sending our ball hockey and eventually even our roller hockey to other towns. And this is supposed to be one of the most prideful things of Kinnelon. In fact, if you look at high schools, not everybody has a high school hockey team, right? Let alone a state championship high school hockey team. So this is something ingrained in the public that in the Kinnelon Borough, that's really an athletic tradition. So what I have done is I'm proposing in your next plans or when you're thinking about a roller rink. Now, what has changed in roller rink technology? That's the big thing, right? What was here and everywhere else is asphalt. Asphalt cracks, hard to maintain, and then eventually no one wants to deal with it. Well, there's a thing called deck hockey. Now that is the brand, but there's other brands of it. But simply put, it's tiles, right? Synthetic tiles that you put down. It is super cheap, super easy to maintain. You guys can see the budget on here. More importantly, we can advertise on it, and we can run this thing cost neutral to the entire upkeep and maintenance. I know you guys probably don't deal with us on DPW because, quite frankly, we deal with private rinks that gotta cut the ice, chill it down, and so forth. But I'm very conscious of the taxpayer that if you compare that to a grass field, just kind of a top line down, it's actually cheaper to maintain one of these things. Plus, we can sell advertisements to actually make it completely cost neutral to the town in terms of annual operating costs. I won't go through line item by line item, I put that there for you guys. But that's just something that we can do as a partnership, and being cost effective, as I think everybody's mostly concerned about, is something top of mind. And we have an association, we can easily do this. There's a lot of families that will help us on this one. You know, we're talking about grading land and so forth. We can honestly, if you guys put the infrastructure in, we could build it with the fundraising. We feel confident with that and maintain the operating costs.
Can I just add something? It's a great conversation, and I think it's worthy to have it. But we did some communication between a couple of us when we were watching the rec vision plan, including our neighbors across the street, because they do not have to abide by the same guidelines as us. And there's a bunch of property they've been looking at that back up to their property. And there was talk about possibly purchasing them. They don't have to meet the same Highlands guidelines and things like that. So maybe, I'm gonna allow you to finish, but maybe a conversation between all of us as a group makes it that much more powerful, and also gives us many more options of what could possibly be done. And space, because it can benefit the schools, benefits the whole municipality, but realistically, benefits the schools and the draw to the schools as much.
Yes, I think, yeah, for sure. Just to put it out there that Kinnelon right now, in terms of the high school level, it's a tri-op, but Kinnelon is the lead program and has the most kids in that program. And the Kinnelon Youth Hockey Association, we actually take our neighbors in from the tri-borough, but 95% of the players are obviously Kinnelon. And you know, when you look at hockey programs, there is a direct line to medium household income per capita to hockey programs. I don't think that's shock to anyone. So you don't really find a lot of people in tri-borough area meeting what would be the traditional standards of the gross medium household income. So they might not be as interested because, quite frankly, they look at hockey and they're like, well, that's not for my child, because they associate cost, right? That's always been our struggle. That's why we actually, in our youth program, take them in, so they have a home. But that's one of our struggles, is that hockey with price income. So they might have the land, but we got the people. And it's our people, at the end of the day, our residents who want it more, unfortunately. We're trying.
There's strength in numbers, and when you combine everybody and you communicate as a whole, as a community,
Yeah.
it makes it, everybody brings something different to the table. So, they might know something I don't know, I might know something they don't know, you might know something I don't know. Kind of pull all that together and put all our heads together and figure out what can be done.
And this is an impervious product, so it can't be done on borough property.
Well, you have basketball courts and so forth, and I saw community centers that are impervious roofs and lights and things like that, and you guys are in the planning stage. Yes, you need a concrete slab. There's no getting around that, or some type of impervious slab that you put the deck tiles on. That's for sure. Now, could you bring it indoors? You could. That's a lot more expensive. This is probably preferred outdoor space. And the goal is to keep it more cost neutral and really support the Kinnelon residents, because quite frankly, as someone already mentioned, there's kids who come back from private schools to play for Kinnelon. In fact, that was a big reason for the championship of kids actually telling Del Barton and Don Bosco and Pope John, and they lost people to us to play with us. So we talk about athletics being a big centerpiece of the town. Well, this is it. This is hockey. That doesn't happen in a lot of other sports, but definitely happens here. It's a source of pride and so forth. So I definitely think we should be working with them. If they might have the land and so forth, but they don't have the residents that are typically associate with the hockey community, because it tends to be a burden.
That's what I mean by between all of us. The right communication, the right sales pitch, the right conversation, you can.
Sure.
You can do that.
They got the land, we got the paying customers. So that's, yeah, you're right. It's kind of a weird area with that whole thing, but also what comes with selling advertisements is also we got the paying customers of advertisers as well. I've unfortunately found out too is everything's really Kinnelon fueled when we run Kinnelon youth hockey, and it's not necessarily the name as much as, you know, hockey's has a higher level of barrier entry when it comes to cost. That's just the nuts and bolts of it, right? We got the players, they might have the land. And, you know, as you guys are planning with land, you can make the two marry right there and keep this thing unique to Kinnelon, as quite frankly. And cost neutral. That's the most important part. Any other questions on that? Okay. Thank you guys so much. And again, thank you guys a lot for the support. You know, whether it's our middle school championship or a high school championship, you guys have been, you know, probably not as vocal supporting us into the public, but we appreciate it as hockey, of everything you guys are doing, honestly. You know, I would love to give you guys this championship poster of our middle school to hang up, you know?
That guy right there, he'll take it and he'll have it hung up.
You know, but we're very thankful of you guys. You guys really have helped us out getting this off the ground the past couple of years, so thank you.
Thank you for doing it. It's, as someone who, Councilman Lewis, Councilman Harris, and the mayor put a lot of time into recreation in the community. We love to see sports thrive and then the kids have fun and success. It's, when you put a lot of hard work in, you get the success, you want to reward it. So it's great.
It's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
What was your name, sir?
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith?
Do you need a address?
No.
Okay. Just to make sure we're
I know who you're talking to.
I need ID, that sounds suspicious. That sounds made up. All right, does anyone else want to get me in trouble tonight?
Not get you in trouble.
All right.
Is there a copy of the plan publicly available?
Anthony has it, he can email it to you.
Demoing it out to the residents, anybody that wants. Yeah, we'll make sure we get it on the Borough website.
Okay, great. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, so hearing none, we'll now make a motion to adjourn. Do I have anyone that wants to make a motion to adjourn?
Make motion. Second.
Second, so we got a Glenn Sisson motion to adjourn. This meeting is over. Go peace and go Colts.
Ari, I'll call you tomorrow. Okay. I think you call in the morning. All right? Okay, thank you.
I gave him my card.
All right.
It's the only.
Yeah, I love it.